For the viewers' benefit, we met at the Search Arb session at
Yeah.
Affiliate Summit in Barcelona.
You go to these conferences, you talk to 100 people, out of them, maybe one or two, you'll have some.
Yeah. It was immediately like, okay, this is fun. This is fun.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
I'll do my best to refrain from all the jokes you made when we met.
Yes. It was bad enough for a German dude to leave the conversation.
Yeah, I remember. They weren't used to that.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly the details about your journey. Would you
Yeah.
mind giving a little background on how your journey began?
Sure. Standard affiliate journey.
Yeah.
Started, I think, like 2008, 9, whatever. It was even running fake reports on Google AdWords when it was still allowed.
We
Oh,
started at the same time then.
yeah.
Two senior guys here in the business.
But you start with Search Arb, or you did everything on the
Yeah.
way?
Never affiliates, directly
Yeah.
Search Arb.
Okay. So start affiliate, cleansing what was working in the old days. So you're a newbie affiliate, you don't have any money for anything, not to pay content writers, anything. Had to learn HTML, Photoshop, everything.
Yeah.
So did everything, learned HTML, launched my first site. I think the first offer I launched was like 80 cents lead submit, for like baby stuff on a Zoogle, like the old network. It was like the first reveal network. Launched it on AdWords, was doing very well, reached like the $100 a day. Then decided to scale to a credit card sale offer.
Yeah.
Did my first like site, the colon reports or something, awesome domain, doctors, amazing.
Yeah.
Started scaling, reached like the first 1K, and then of course the Google slap. And yeah, then
how bad was it? Did you lose money in the end, or?
You go from doing like 1K, you think like you're the king of the world, you're like the richest man ever, you're doing everything from home. Like my first goal was $200 a day, like 3K a month. And I thought, yeah, that's it. It's amazing.
Dude, that was the same. That was the same. As soon as I made $100 a day, then I thought, now I can quit my job. This is all I need.
For me, like the first time, like when I launched on and I saw the first conversion, I thought, that's it. It's amazing. I made money on the internet.
Yeah, it's a rush, huh?
For sure. And then we reached like the $100, and then 1K was like, oh my God. And then you get the slap, and then, okay, you get depressed a bit for a day till you drink a little. And then, okay, let's get it again. And then, you reach another goal, but then another slap. And then I remember Facebook just started. So I was doing again, like they were paying like good money on Facebook game installs. So you start just taking screenshots of the game itself. Instead of doing CPC, you do CPM, and you make like the insane money because the CPC is so low and you get like insane CTR.
Yeah.
That was doing well. But again, with affiliate marketing, like whatever is super profitable, it's not sustainable. There are no gap in the markets.
Yes. Yeah, the slaps, after a while you get numb to them.
Yeah, you get numb to them. A lot of it wears you down. Because so many people in the game, they're one-hit wonders. They're 22, 23, doing like $1 million a year. And then, wow, I buy my Ferraris, whatever. And then they understand next year I'm back to zero.
Yeah, that's definitely, it's a roller coaster.
It's
in the beginning, at least.
For sure. So I did everything, seriously, everything. Dating, the natives was very well. Did some other stuff. Then I decided to take a break for 3 years from this entire online. Decided to do some offline stuff. And then it was good. But it's, like you said, it's addictive. Like this insane ROI, and you're pretty much gambling every day. But
a bit more intelligent gambling, at least you
hope. For sure. But there's still the gambling element to that. You never know.
Yeah.
And then I remember it was Dubai last year, which my ex-partner told me, yeah, you're going. I said, yeah, you know what? Why not? Haven't seen all the people for a while. And there I heard of Search Arb. Dubai, I think, was in February last year. There was already
a thing.
No, not the Geek Out. It's a affiliate word in Dubai.
Okay.
So then I heard about Search Arb. The funny thing, like I tried Search Arb with, can I say the name? Like it was before they became who they are today. They were like Team Internet. And we tried Search Arb. We set like a 2K, and okay, didn't make it work. I think it was 2017 or something, or 16.
Was it on Parking Crew or?
Yes, Parking Crew. Okay. Gave a bit, never put any focus on that. And then, last year I saw everyone are just Search Arb. It was exploding. So yeah, started I think in April, more or less. We start end of April, we start pushing the first traffic, start with TikTok.
Yeah.
And yeah, we grew like insane. Like in April, we did like maybe $500. In May, we only grew like to the low six figures. And then when in Barcelona
Daily.
itself, yeah, sorry, not daily, sorry, and monthly, not daily, but we started like pushing, I don't know, like the 5 figures a day. And then in Barcelona, because the thing with Search Arb, which is, it's still on my mind all the time, because you're floating so much cash. It's not like an affiliate network that pays you once a week, or you're doing volume even twice a week. You're pretty much floating cash. Like we get paid like net 15. So you're still floating a whole month plus an extra 10, 15 days of the next month. So we were really scaling. And I remember I met one of the feeds in Barcelona. And I said, yeah, how are you? Yeah, what's the company name? Oh, wow, you scale too fast. Be careful. Google doesn't like it. If they close your account, there's nothing we can do. So I'm like, what? That's what you're telling me right now? So I already told my media buyer, like, okay, let's pause it down. Let's shut it down until we get paid. Cause we were playing like, I don't know, $500,000. And it was before we even got a credit line. So it was pretty much, if we get fucked, like it's money out. But then I talked to some other people. Then I met you, and I remember you told me like, you wish you would have pushed it harder. Cause I said, oh. So everything was okay at the end. It was like 2 weeks of like nerve wracking just to get paid. And then we continued. So which brings us to the part, like I hit you up because end of the year, like all the feeds sent an email. Google are now actively monitoring ads and everything. So all the feeds told us that. And Search Arb was always there. It was always under the radar. But now that it's so becomes mainstream, there are so many people in the game, and they don't care. They will abuse it as much as possible, whatever. And the creative, I saw people even cloning celebrity voices, doing insane stuff. But that's why I reached out, because in December, like all the feeds said, okay, guys, we know what's going on. It's a Wild West, but now Google are going to become more strict. So that's why I wanted to get like your opinion about that, because you've been doing it for so long. And for me, like there is, okay, worst case, like they lock your domain so you don't show any ads. Cool. So you get a slap, but at least you get paid. The main thing is like if they do a huge clawback, because we just started, I think already in June or July, they already did like globally, from what I understand, like a 3% clawback. Then the next month, an extra 2.5% revenue, which hurts when you're doing volume. It's out of revenue.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So
that was a new move that they apply global clawback for everybody. Yeah. But hey, you're dealing with a monopoly. What are you going to do? There's a lot. Thank you for sharing your journey. It's super interesting to hear. And I think we can have quite an interesting conversation, because you're a veteran, but the Search Arb field is still relatively fresh, right?
Yeah.
So I had a Q&A with a guy recently on this channel, and it turned into quite a nice conversation. But he had a different profile. He hasn't been doing this in the same way as you, and not as long, and not in these volumes. So I think it's going to be an interesting conversation. So yeah, I think like this, like, you know, if you are in the risk zone, like in your heart of hearts, like how aggressive have you been? And if you haven't been going like too hard, lying, saying things that are not true, then I feel you don't have much to be worried about. And the matter with scaling, yes, $500,000 is a lot of money, but to Google, it's very small. It depends. If you go from 0 to $500,000, sure, then but if you scale with proper, like with content that isn't across the line in a reasonable fashion, I see, like, why not? Right? There's people that push much more than that and in the channel. So I don't think that like someone in Mountain View said, oh my God, this guy generating $500,000. So I think you could, or I shouldn't say, I think you can be relaxed, because I don't know how your creators are and how aggressive exactly you are. Of course, the further you deviate from the truth, the more you trick the system, the higher the risk is going to be. And optimally, you want to be just sending almost plain vanilla ads and still make a buck, because then you have the longevity. That to me is the highest art form, right? Anybody can do like a fake, like a deep fake video as a celebrity endorsing something and then getting clicks. That's not so difficult. It's difficult to be compliant and to run traffic at scale, but it's possible. It
No, for
definitely
sure.
is possible.
For sure. I would say we're running like, okay, we're not the Pope. We're not saint for sure. We are pushing the envelope as possible. But
Yeah.
when you spy around and you see what other people are doing, like it's insane. So
Yeah.
we are pretty good. When we got those emails from the feed, so like I told my guys, okay, let's review everything, like hundreds of ads, and make sure, for example, like the feeds right now, they never liked it, but screenshots of the page, for example, of the actual keywords, they don't like
exactly.
that.
Yes.
Also, the swipe left, mentioning exact numerical figures of if it's a course or whatever, or dental implants for sure. So we're not doing all that. Something a lot of people are doing, for example, is the jobs angle. So that's something I remember I asked you in Barcelona. I asked you, so do you know who are those AdWords advertisers that people actually click on their ads and who are paying? And you said, what do you care? Because I asked that question in terms like we have to provide value. Those AdWords advertisers have to get lead, or they have to get calls to the call center or everything.
Yeah.
So when you look at the jobs angle, like what makes sense is like the people who click are looking for a job, while the actual advertiser is actually advertising the service itself.
Can you specify a little bit more?
So for example, let's look at a vertical like roofing. So it's basically people want to change their roofs, or like windows replacement. People want to change that. And a lot of people are doing the jobs angle. So if you're looking to get a good paying job as a roofer or stuff like that. Yeah. So in my head, that's not what the AdWords advertiser are advertising about.
So when you follow down the stream, then you see like an ad for a general jobs page, like Indeed or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that can come like real value for the advertiser. And as long, like in the optimal world, you're unlocking people's intent, right? If there's someone, a roofing expert, that is then maybe pissed with the boss and looking for a job, and then like it pops up on Insta, like, okay, this is what I want to do. And then they end up using the platform and maybe even find the roofing, a new roofing job. That doesn't seem like impossible. That could happen. But, these kind of slaps, like I haven't seen happen. Maybe it's better to talk about what kind of slaps have there been, and what's been the history? Because there have been slaps, right?
Yeah,
in the past in Search Arb.
From your own personal experience, like, did you ever get a slap, like a big clawback or something?
Not really, no. Of course, there's been clawbacks, but we've always been very aware of the rules, and we've been thinking it's important not to. It's a nice thing. We don't want to burn it to the ground. However, I had my own monetization platform in the past. So we had customers, and then I could see what people are doing. And of course they got slapped if they did it wrong. And then it comes back to one of the first ones. So we just had our monetization service was some Greek guy. He went like from 0 to 40,000 in a day. So example of that's bad scaling. That raises the alarm bell, right? And then the source, it's so long ago, I forgot what it was, but it was definitely not proper and caused a bunch of problems. Then slaps have been handed out for, say, incent traffic, when you get like an in-game artifact, if you then click on the link and so on. That's a good example of something that's absolutely, it shows zero good intent, and it's no honesty. There's not even a chance that someone can convert. Those kind of examples, they'll lead to slap. They don't have to, but you're definitely not going to have longevity in this game. And I find it's a waste of time, because you will for sure have to do something else soon. You will
Yeah, for
have to
sure.
put in the hours to learn something different. That's not good. But yeah, there's always a bunch of gray zone activity going on system
Yeah.
wide. And sometimes when it gets out of hand, then the channel as a whole needs then a slap to stop, like to shape up. And you might definitely be right that now it's time for a slap soon again for all the luck seekers that have come in and that take shortcuts. And then, yeah, for sure. But in the end, it's not so difficult when you do something that is
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
over the line. If you
Yeah.
can plausibly argue that you provide value, honestly, you should be fine. You should be
Cool.
fine. Of course, you need to read. Some rules are not super intuitive, always not showing the park page. Like, I don't think it doesn't show that you have evil intent if you show the park page. It's just like one step too far.
Yeah.
For Google to display that. It's not necessary. So yeah.
Okay,
So I
cool.
would say there's the feeling that you described, in other words, is, oh, could this be over soon? Is it sustainable? That
Yeah.
feeling has been with me since I started. And that's what I meant with, oh, I regret that I didn't scale harder, because there was always this nagging voice in the background. Oh, maybe it will be turned off. And back then it was much more hush, that you shouldn't talk about it. And it wasn't like 100% certain that it's okay. But now it's a different world.
Yeah.
And it's fine. And yeah, there's a lot of people coming in, but the majority of them they'll probably, not devote enough time, or they will take shortcuts and never get dinged. So I wouldn't worry too much about it either. It's like in any other field. If you can provide value and if you can do it better than the other people, then you're most
Yeah,
likely
for
have
sure.
success. And when you
It's
have
the
success
only-
in this field, it's very scalable and
Yeah,
reliable.
for sure. Yeah, pretty much everything is open to you. Every vertical you can imagine is there pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no,
Are you running TikTok exclusively, or are you running other channels?
No, so we started with TikTok. It was doing well, but like in the last few months, TikTok has become so unstable. Like CPAs, you can have something doing super nice ROIs, then it crashes. After
Mhm.
2 weeks, it goes up again. It's super unstable. So when you compare it to
Mhm.
Facebook, Facebook is like clockwork. You can see it's pretty much the same all the time. The thing that
Yeah.
fluctuates is the RPCs, which you don't really have control over. But yeah, TikTok right now, it's a mess. Like we actually, I think, decreased it so much, but now it's a new year. So we're going to restart again and see how it goes. But yeah, for sure, TikTok was totally unstable.
Yeah. So with the wave of people coming in to Search Arb, there's also, I find lately, it was more bullish in the summer in Barcelona when if you go to the show. Now you probably hear a lot of people moaning about it. Oh, Search Arb is not that good, or it's over, and so on. I think it's much due to that many of the people that came in, maybe they were buying mainly TikTok, and you're totally right. It became much more difficult. It became saturated. It followed the same story as most channels. In the beginning, you have a honeymoon phase, you make insane ROIs, you don't have to put in so much effort, and everything is great. But of course, every window will close, or at least it will become more difficult. And that's definitely what has happened in TikTok, but it doesn't mean that other avenues are equally as difficult, right? Personally, I would also prefer right now to buy on Facebook rather than TikTok.
Yeah,
But it also comes down to the skill set that you have. Maybe for some people out there are great at running that kind of traffic. So it depends on who you are and what you enjoy a lot more. But for sure, the difficulty has gone up since last
for
year.
sure. Yeah, but it's a cycle. It reaches a critical mass. Everyone are stopping, and then there's the opportunity again because everyone stops. So if you come back there, then again you can make money.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, there's another thing I wanted to ask you. Like we said, like with Facebook, like the traffic side, like the buying side is pretty steady. It is changing, like I would say, like per vertical are actually the RPCs. They change immensely. It's also, you can start the month, the RPCs are low, and then like at the middle of the month, second week, they suddenly jump again and then go down again. So like, how do you see like the fluctuating RPCs and like affecting the ROI and on a specific vertical? If you look globally, okay, but if you look like on vertical wise.
I find, yes, there's several different trends going on and repeating trends going on. You have the day of week, of course, affects how good RPCs you're getting. You mentioned what time of the month is it? Often in the beginning of the month, so like the shift of the month is when it gets the most volatile, when you can have really disappointing days. In some verticals, I feel, or I've seen that the end of the month can be great. It feels like
Yeah.
they need to burn up some budgets quickly before the month is over. So there will be recurring patterns that you see, and then you can either adapt to it or you just run the campaign in such a way that you're like, okay, I just run it in a steady way, and then on the bad days, I accept that the ROI is going down a bit.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
And
That's what we're doing. We even see, for example, like Sunday globally is just a bad day, like on most verticals. It's like the worst day of the week for us. And yeah,
yeah,
we try to look on like at least like a 30% ROI, I would say, on a weekly or even more. Now that we have more statistic, we try to look at the vertical like on a
yeah.
month basis. So yeah, that's something we actually consider, like developing a sort of a tool that can give you like analysis per vertical and try to spot like monthly trends.
Yeah. And then, of course, some verticals have seasonality
Yeah.
in them, just the way they are. If it's something tax related, for instance, people are going to be more interested at some points of the year if we talk about American taxes, or if it's some benefits or something that people can apply to. But yeah, I got a similar question not too long ago, how I deal with that I don't see it. I think I got it from a person from the affiliate space or e-com, and then of course you're used to that. You see directly what ROI you're getting. But here you just have to accept or befriend the fact that you're running in the dark for until the next update, and just need enough safety margin for it not to punish you too hard. And maybe that's the reason why most people are saying that they aim for 30% ROI, because then I feel you have a good buffer for when things turn down. How active are you with keyword optimization?
So yeah, that's an interesting thing with keywords. Okay, you choose a vertical, you start with a batch of, let's say, 5 keywords. And then I noticed, okay, so that's an interesting question because you use the keyword planner, Google Keyword Planner, and whatever CPCs you see there are irrelevant. You can see $15, $20 click, whatever you're getting at the end, it's totally different. So what others, we are playing with keywords, and it's not like you're getting like whatever, $1 RPCs, and then you're going to find this golden keywords, you're going to give you $5. My theory, and it is a theory at the end, I don't think I have enough data, so whatever. It's like a vertical wise. The different keywords, it's not going to boost you. It's more like vertical wise. The CPCs are irrelevant. What I look for, if at least in the keyword plan, I just look for high competition. That's something I care about more than the CPCs.
Interesting. Okay. Our take on it is, of course, the optimal keyword would have high competition, high volume, and high CPC, and a nice semantic meaning.
Yeah.
But those keywords you almost never get. What I mean with like a good semantic meaning is that it's like it sounds like the keyword sells itself. It sounds attractive. Say like the cheapest dental implants in my area is of course more interesting to click than just dental implants.
Yeah.
So because we're not only like more important than the RPC is actually the RPM, right? You want like per person that visits the page, how much money do you make? And if the keywords are more interesting, your RPM will likely be higher. I have a little bit different experience with keyword optimization. It could, of course, be that you do it and then you see, okay, it doesn't do that much. But I've also had cases when the performance has gone up by 100%. It's possible when you hit the right keyword or combination of keywords. So I would not rule it out, but I would also say what affects how the keywords are shown. Like just because you input that I would like these keywords to be displayed, it doesn't mean that they actually are displayed. But a factor that will increase your chance of having this keyword displayed is the ad title that you're sending along. If that also contains the keyword that you want displayed, the ad title definitely affects how likely it is that the user will actually see the keyword.
So
Then you should, of course, be compliant and add it into
of course,
Yeah.
that's an interesting test because let's assume
Yeah.
you're passing like 5 keywords.
Yeah.
And you can start, each feed is a bit different, for example. For us, for example, we test like when we start 2 feeds, like the same keyword, just sending to 2 feeds. And I can see that there are two feed providers who always have like the best conversion rate. If the others are converting at whatever, 40%, they're converting like 46, 47. Even though the RPCs are actually lower. Even though the conversion is high, but the RPCs are lower. They're tracking more conversions, but they're paying less. Again, I'm not sure about the theory. You can say maybe the layout, the colors, because they all have different colors or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
I'm very happy that you brought up this, and this is something that I wanted to get deeper into in one of the sessions I do with my co-founder. You mentioned that the keyword planner data that is basically fairy dust. Yes, but also the data that you get in the monetizer. Don't read it like it's absolute truth. Behind the scenes of a monetizer, you get you get so many requests. There's so many bots hitting up the domains, fake clicks galore. And then the monetizer has to decide what's my limit, what's a real visitor, and what's a real click. And they will, of course, have then different limits. And depending on that, you will see a different conversion rate. You will see, as you say, a different RPC. And that makes it that you can't compare it apples to apples, what happens in Seedo versus in System 1 and so on. Exactly. All you can compare is how much money do you get from the monetizer. That's the only real hard fact number. So I would argue when you do the comparison between monetizers, create your own metric. We call it effective RPM, so that we take how many clicks or how many visitors have we sent to this monetizer and how much money did we get back. Then you have a number that you can compare between different platforms, because otherwise you'll be totally in the dark and you draw wrong conclusions. And of course, as a monetizer, some monetizers then play with that, because for less sophisticated users, and they're very happy. Oh, look, I got a $20 click. This is the best monetization platform out there. So there's an incentive to report less clicks, and then of course a higher RPC. So take it with a big grain of salt there. But it seems like you're on the right path.
Affiliate work, if it's an affiliate network, they just shave. That's what affiliate networks do for the end.
Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting.
We don't know what they do, right? It could happen that they shave as well on the monetization platform. The temptation is there. I'm not
even sure if the account managers actually know what's going on there. Like, it's such a black box. What do you say about rev share? Like, how much do you think the feeds are actually playing with the rev share they're giving you?
Yeah, of course. And all this, you get this percentage rev share. Yeah. Rev share of what? Because often that is like there's a service fee and whatever fee. So, and also the rev share. Come on. Again, it's like the only true thing is how much money lands in your bank account from that monetizer. That's the one thing you can be sure of. How many monetizers do you run with?
So we run, we actually send revenue to right now 3, but it's 70% or 60% goes to one, and then we're playing with the other 2.
Yeah, it's often like that there's one that works the best, but it's different people which one works the best.
Totally. Some people will say they are the best RPCs, and you answer, what the fuck what are you talking about? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yes, exactly. That depends on your style, and maybe there's some random factor there as well, but a lot also who's your account manager and how good is your relationship as an account manager.
Yeah.
Mix.
Totally. We even ran a test running the same feed, same keywords, just different domain. Like, we bought a different domain, plugged it in, and the RPCs were different. And it's
definitely black box factor. It goes as far. We acquired a monetization platform many years ago. So then for a while we ran 2 with exactly the same template, 50% going to one, 50% to the other. Everything is the same. Yet there was this one huge domain generate a lot of money. We just couldn't make it work. We wanted to move everything to one system, but it was so much better on the old system, despite everything. So there is an element of randomness in this whole thing as well. So that's why I say it definitely pays off to work with several monetizers. So you say you work with 3, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Good. And it can also, of course, it can change over time too.
Yeah.
And it's how active are you with the lesser performing monetization platforms? Are you in touch with their account reps?
I am in touch with them. There's one platform I just dislike personally, which I just don't want to work with. I think we talked about it in Barcelona. I just don't like them. It's like,
yeah. To name names if you want to.
I don't like them.
Oh, really?
I don't like them.
Okay.
It's with everyone. We got like easy payment terms, like net 15 with them. It's a headache.
Yeah.
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 But again, I talk to other people and say, wow, they're the best. But for us, just no, can I tell you? People like them. They got like the easiest interface and all that, but I don't care. Like we have our tools, so for us it's meaningless. Just
I see. Yeah. That's interesting. It's different.
So you told me like your best or system 1.
No, I would say we sent quite a bit to.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we started sending a bit more.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're blowing everyone out of the water. Sometimes they're a bit winning, but it's not worth the headache. Yeah, you can censor that part if you want. We don't want. We don't want to say bad things about anyone. We have to be friends with everyone at the end.
But maybe they watch this. I know that they watch this, and maybe they're like, "Shit, we need to win the dead back here."
I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know. They're the biggest, I think, so they have the most and everything.
Could be. Yeah. No, but not, and I know I also don't want to throw shade on. I think they knowledge-wise they're really good. They know a lot, and interface I think is really good for our purposes. So I find every platform has like a potential advantage.
Yeah, for sure.
And obviously, it fits for some people.
Yeah, everyone finds their own.
Quite clever buyer. Yeah, exactly.
What do you say about GDN, buying traffic from GDN itself?
I think that's a good idea to look into that.
Because I know it could be big. The actual feeds are buying from GDN. If you spy, you can see their sites, they're actually the ad block, their content sites, and you can even spy to see the ad that they're running, which are super vanilla, but I guess they're making okay money with that.
Yes. You say feeds, so you've seen several feeds that do that, or just one?
I saw 2.
Okay.
Yeah. One of them, you can find all their domains pretty easy. Like they have a pretty heavy footprint.
Yeah. System is not secret. The system one is big on. On that. So.
And now with the transparency with AdWords, you can just put their company name and you will see like all their ads.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so that actually brings me to another question. So are they running? Because I got confused. So AFD, okay, we know what AFD is. I got confused between AFS and RSOC.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to shed some light on that. RSOC, like if I explain it in the simplest possible way, is that you have a parked page, but with this content around it. There's a keyword block in an article. So you get, if I would try to sell it, it would be like the best of both worlds from running through a content page or interstitial and directly to a parked page. So that's RSOC, and that's quite limited still. Not a lot of people have access to it. And it is limited also in the way that it was only really viable on desktop traffic. That's supposedly changed now. So what you get via Tonic currently, or like Classic Seed, basically, all of them, unless you have a good hookup, will be AFS.
So it's basically just so you got the content page, you got the keyword ad block, and then you click on that and and the second page is already advertisers?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we got this.
Or it would look like a SERP, right? After you click on that.
Yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah.
keyword block. Then you have a SERP, and supposedly then you'll have a broader advertiser base there, better
Yeah.
RPCs. So RSOC will definitely, I expect that we'll hear a lot more about RSOC in this year.
Yeah,
And
it's
then it will
interesting.
become much more broad.
Yeah, and there's more testing, there's more wiggle with them because you can play with the headline and maybe the
Yeah,
layout. So yeah.
definitely. Which then also increases the complexity. I find like when I observe people that are new in the space, and there's so many levers that you can pull, and the task is to figure out which levers really matter, because you can also get lost in the weeds, right?
Yeah,
It's difficult. There's some details you shouldn't pay too much attention to, and some
totally.
details that you should, because you need the speed also.
Yeah,
You do a
it's a
lot of tests.
2080. It's the
Yeah,
2080 where you're gonna invest.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
100%.
A question that I had. So basically, like, how much do you decide to scale a vertical? Like, how much you said, okay, I'm gonna scale the spend on that till it starts breaking. Like, you decide, okay, whatever. I launch a vertical, it does whatever 60% ROI, and then you start scaling, and it's better to spend half and do 60% and spend double and do 30%. In the end, you're making the same amount of money.
Hmm. Yeah, I would always aim for that 30%
Yeah.
ROI, because it's
Hmm.
an unknown. As long as you have 60, you don't know how far can I take it.
Hmm.
And it's a task to figure out where is the limit, right? I would definitely try to scale it up. And yeah, you found something that works. And then I think then it makes sense to explore, like, how far can you take it? You could also then explore what happens if you change the keyword order, or what happens if you send it to different monetizer, and so on. Then definitely, I think a lot of missed opportunities out there are people that find the winner and that are then like, yes, now I have a 50% ROI. Let's not touch it. Let's not mess it
Yeah.
up.
No, totally.
And
That
maybe you could have made 10 times more.
for sure. Oh, the 30% is like what we always try. 30% like the lucky
Yeah.
number. Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So the most interesting question. Okay, so we all spy, see what's trending, whatever. How do you think about new verticals to come up with?
I wouldn't advise doing that. But you can instead, of course you can do it, but it
Yeah.
will, I'm just thinking like speed is of the essence. And
Yeah.
they want to test a lot. And unless you've tested everything that you see out there, like, why would you then try to reinvent the wheel? That I find is a super common error when we hire new campaign managers, that they come, oh, I had this idea, or I read this article, or noticed this trend. I'm like, oh, saying I don't do it. You'll have a
Hmm.
much higher chance to succeed if you try something that you see pop up. But you can still be creative. You should still be creative. You shouldn't just rip the ads. I think you can view yourself as like you combine several different things. If you get a signal that, say, roofing works, and then you could think, okay, what other geos could this work?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
look at
Yeah.
the keyword
Totally.
tool, and then you're going to be very quick. A concept, like a communicative concept and keyword set that works, then you can translate it, and I find then you've contributed, right? Or maybe if you see the ad and you think, okay, it could be done a little bit better, or all the ads look in this way, and I have had success in similar verticals with a different approach, then by all means, just mix it all together and create your own thing. And that's where I also see, even though that there's a lot of people getting into Search Arb, and so most people, they will do it either not with enough thought or not with enough love. There's always going to be opportunities for someone that launches a campaign with like real thought, intelligent thought on it. You should think, okay, what in the spy tool, that should be a benchmark. That should be the worst ad in your ad set. And then how can you sharpen it? How can you push it a little bit further?
Totally.
So with that, like, you win so much by something that you've seen in the spy tool, because then you should also take note of the keywords that are displayed on the page. Granted that you're looking at a skilled player, because
Yeah.
then there are players out there that then have a bunch of analysts that then are tools that look at all the keywords out there and that quickly test everything. If you have such a chance, especially if you're one-man shop. Like, well, you can't compete with that. You can copy
Of course.
quickly elements. You shouldn't rip straight away, but be heavily inspired by the info that's out there. I'm trying to think, have I ever run something that I just thought of totally on my own? I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah. The funny thing when we just started, so I think like TikTok gave us like a few verticals, like suggestions to run. And it was a funny thing because we never did videos. Like as a field, we only like static images there. So that was like a big hurdle. Oh my God, videos. We never did that. But then we hired some video editors, whatever. It wasn't that big a deal. But I remember the first creatives, like we did, we spied, but then we decided to be super creative, starting everything. Like it was a total failure. We're talking about minus 90, 80% failure. It was horrible. And then we started saying, okay, that's what's working. You don't need to invent the wheel. Maybe improve it a bit there and that.
Yes.
And
Yes. But what I also like, there are very skilled creators out there, but maybe you can borrow some elements. You don't need to throw out the whole concept, but I still think maybe that's also overlooked constantly, like the fact that this is a creative business and the creatives should have some creativity in them. But you don't have to go overboard. You can just use what you've seen in the spy tool as a base and then just work from there, I would say.
Totally. What do you say if you look at you guys? So in terms of revenue, so like how much is like US and how much is like outside?
US is really big. I don't have the current,
but it's not like 50-50.
US has always been the center.
Yeah.
But with that said, the other markets, they're definitely important as well. I always try to think, okay, if someone is viewing this conversation, listening to this conversation, and is on their own, I would again go back to them to think about where can you contribute the most? Where's your edge, right? You're based in Poland, so you probably have an edge. Then it's possible to make good money with Polish traffic if you then understand the culture better. Even if there's other people running traffic in Poland, they could very well be that they sit somewhere else and they just AI translate everything, and then people will notice in the ads that it's not made perfectly. AI is not that great yet. Often there will be like some odd phrases and so on, and maybe you can do it better. Yeah, but just as a whole, of course, the US is dominant as a geo in the Search Arb market. So I would definitely, you should definitely have it in your mix.
Yeah,
sure.
How do you think, like with automation? Do you have anything automated, or it's pretty much hands-on monitored and nothing is like automated rules and stuff like that?
Depends on the platform that you're buying from. In some, it's more important than others. I find with TikTok, it's relatively important to have automations. Totally. But overall, less than you'd think, probably.
Yeah,
you can run a lot with relatively little, and it's a topic that I've also, like, when people write and ask what they should do, especially beginners that are, I signed up for the optimizer and volume and some saying you don't need that in the beginning, really. Just try to make money just as is. If you have a good concept and a good vertical, good ads, you don't need to automate. That you will see great ROIs directly. And that should be your basis. And then when it becomes so many verticals, so much that's difficult to keep track of, then I would explore that, because it goes also back to the fact that we don't have perfect information. It's so delayed. What we have had on the second information, you could run much more with automations, but you're always going to have these blinds on that you don't know exactly how you're running right now.
Yeah. It's something like with the media buyers, like for all our years, like we always thought how quick we automate the process. But I found out that like a media buyer has to have a feel for the campaign. If he launches like 50 new, whatever, he doesn't have a feel. If you don't have a feel, I can ask you right now, what's the average RPC? What's the spend? And you don't actually know it. then you just lose control because
Yeah.
it's so dynamic and it's not like a determinative thing. Like you work in McDonald's, like the same input and the same out. Here you can do the same input, something changes on the traffic side and the traffic source side, and the
Yeah.
out will be totally different. So you
Yeah.
always have to be like on your toes, and new problems come, you have to solve them.
Yeah. Absolutely. But I think like later, like when you run a larger organization, there are a bunch of things that you can take care of for the media buyer and that you should take care of.
Oh no,
But
for
it's
sure. Like
probably
in terms of launching, like it's a linear process, so that's not a problem.
yeah.
Like it's the same, whatever. But in
Yeah.
terms of actually managing a campaign, then yeah.
Yeah. We still need someone that really is
Yeah.
looking at numbers and thinking about the campaign. And that should be
And
the
has
core, right? The
yeah.
campaign manager should just manage the campaign optimally and then get fed the creatives if it's a large organization. Or I would also say you could, one thing that is probably good to automate is the keyword optimization, because that I found I often had to hunt campaign managers. Hey, when did you renew the keywords? And make sure not to forget about it. That's a good one. I think you can still have a ceiling for the campaign while automating that side of the process. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Interesting.
it's been
Yes.
a joy, but I have to hop on another call
No
in a few
problem, my
minutes
friend.
only. But
Martin, thank you very
yeah,
much for your time. Censor whatever needs to be censored. So
yeah,
they don't send
sure.
bombs to my house. And
No. And hey, if you make it over to Berlin, let me know. It'll be fun
yeah, for sure, man.
to hang out.
Let's stay in touch. Let's stay in touch.
Absolutely.
All right.
Please
Thank you
do.
so
All
much.
right.
Ciao. Bye bye.
Sure. Ciao.